Hello everyone. In the last few lectures, we studied about different phase diagrams such as isomorphous and eutectic phase diagram. We studied about the Gibbs phase rule, and we also learned about the lever rule for identifying the percentage of composition. And in this lecture, you will be learning about the microstructural evolution during cooling using the phase diagram. So we know that when we are cooling from particular level, so there will be phase changes. So phase changes will happen at different temperature. So in a quite simple phase diagram like isomorphous phase diagram, which we have studied earlier, and one of the example is given here, that is the Copernican phase diagram. And here you can see that above the liquidus state, the material is a single phase liquid, and on cooling further down, we are cooling along this line, this vertical line. On cooling, we cross the liquidus phase and enter into a two-phase region. So this is a two-phase region, the central region, where the solid and liquid phase coexist with each other. And on further cooling, we cross the solidus line, and the material is now fully crystallized into a polycrystalline solid of compositions. There will be two boundaries, the liquidus boundary as well as the solidus boundary. So we will, in this particular lecture, we will be studying in detail about the phase changes happening across this line, and the compositions. Of course, the composition will change when we temperature is down. So now the percentage of solid this at this region, it is completely liquid, and on cooling down, it starts begins the solid state will be begins at this point, and on further down the percentage of solid keeps on increasing, and at this point it will be completely solidified. So this is so we will study in detail about the microstructural changes in phases during cooling. Now let us consider a particular alloy such as the copper nickel alloy, as we see here, and look at the microstructural evolution in that alloy. First let us plot the phase diagram for this alloy. So this is how the phase isomorphous phase look like, and above now we have to rely on the combination of tie line method and lever rule method, which we have studied earlier, for determining the amount of each phase present in two phase region. As we studied earlier, in a tie line method, which is a tie line is drawn at the specified temperature. So we'll draw a tie line across this temperature region between two phase region, and the composition of alloy is identified. The percentage of one phase is calculated by dividing the length of the tie line from the overall composition of the alloy to the phase boundary for the second phase, divided by the length of the total tie line, and if you want to calculate the percentage, we have to multiply with 100. So the percentage of second phase is calculated by using the same procedure. So we draw a tie line, which is a horizontal line across this one, and this will cut the solid. This is the liquidus line at this point and solidus line at this point, and we can find out at this particular temperature what is the composition of liquid present and what is the composition of solid present. So this one we have studied earlier. You may refresh that. Now in this particular diagram, above the liquidus temperature, the interface will be uniform liquid. So if you consider the this region, the above this region, this is completely liquid phase. So this will be completely a liquid phase, uniform liquid phase. So if you plot the phase, this will be a uniform liquid. So this is the liquid. Now we are considering this particular alloy. We are reducing the temperature for a particular alloy compositions, that is 60% weight nickel. So this one here you can see the 60% weight nickel. We are considering that. So this is so liquid, and now we are reducing the temperature. As we cool, so this is a completely liquid state, and as we cool the liquid, there will be thermal contraction so that the volume of the liquid will reduce. Also the liquid velocity, viscosity, the liquid viscosity will also increase, and at liquidus temperature, so at this point it reaches the temperature, we can call it as the liquidus temperature. This is the liquidus temperature. Let's put TL. This is TL. So this is liquidus temperature. So let us represent as TL. This is the TL. Anyway. So now liquid velocity, viscosity at liquidus temperature, the phase will change. So at this point, when we reach this particular point, the phase will change, because now this is transforming into solid state. We can draw a tie line. By using the tie line, the composition formed is, we can find out the composition formed. Let us draw a tie line here, this point. Let us plot a tie line. Okay, we can draw a tie line here. So this is the tie line, this is a horizontal line, and we can find out the composition. So this composition we can represent it as CS. This one we can write as CS. This is CS. Okay. Let that be CS. Now this horizontal line meets the solidus line. This point. So this is the we know that this is the solidus line. This is solidus line, and it meets here. It meets the solidus line here, and this so that corresponds to that this particular CS, that corresponds to the composition of first solid form. So let's see how it looks like. So this is not a really solid, because at this temperature only it start deforming into solid. So if you draw this one, the composition of this one, the phase of this one, this will be mostly liquid. This is mostly liquid, but here and there some solid will be formed. Some solid regions will be start to form. So let us represent it this one like this. As we now lower the temperature, the fraction of solid which will be increasing. Now at this point, if you apply the lever rule, it is mostly liquid. We can just say that the solids start to form, but if you start reducing the temperature further down, let's say at this point, if you draw a tie line, that will be like this, and now the arm is divided by, so if you want to find out the fraction of solid form, that will be the opposite lever arm. So that is by the lever rule, we need to find out this length. So this length from the overall compositions to this length divided by total length. So that gives the fraction of solid presence. So if you compare this one with the earlier figure, so in this figure there is this line is 0. There is no such line here. That means the percentage of solid present is 0. But at this point, now the solid phase start forming, and it will be at this point. If you compare this point, it has got this much of solid. And if you really apply the tie line rule here, The first solid form, when we lower the temperature below the liquidus temperature, it is it's not much, there is not much solid, and here the fraction of solid form is increases. At this point the fraction of solid formed is increases, and we can if you want to if you want to draw the phase diagram of that at this particular point, we can draw that what will be the phase at this point. So if you draw the phase at this point, it will be like this. So there will be a mixture of solid and liquid, and it will be almost equal phases of so there will be more solid forms. So you'll study this one in detail. This is a kind of nucleation process. So this is transforming to solid form, and there will be mostly liquid phase. It's a mixture of solid and liquid phase. So as we lower the temperature further down, the fraction of solid form increases, and when we reaches the solidus line here, so this is the solidus line, this is solidus line, and this is the liquidus line, liquidus line. So when we reaches the solidus line, the solidification process complete. Hence, it will be a complete crystalline. It's actually a polycrystalline. So if you want to see the so the phase diagram, it will be a polycrystalline structure. Now, if you want to see the phase change, the final phase change at this point, the point here, it will be a if you draw this one, this will be a region of crystal. So this will be a polycrystalline. All this one we can represented by alpha. Alpha represent we used for solid. So all these are alpha phase. All this one we can alpha phase, but the orientation is different. So what we finally get is a single phase but polycrystallines, and all are represented by this kind of solid phase but with different orientation. Inside this one, these are different grains. So we can say that these are all crystal but different grains with some grain boundaries. So these are solid grains which are separated by grain boundaries, and each of these grains will be having different orientations. Another thing is that in order to have this kind of property, so in order to form the alloy, both the material components we used here, the copper and nickel, should have of similar crystalline structure. In this case, it is FCC. And finally, here at this point here, we end up with a polycrystalline crystal. Let's say this point, we end up with a polycrystalline structure below the solidus line. And if the alloy is cooled beyond this point, if you further cool it down, there will be no microstructural changes. There will not be any microstructural changes happening. So basically, here above the liquidus line, it is a completely liquid phase and it is a uniform liquid. And we lower the temperature, there is lot of changes happening, like the liquid volume changes, the viscosity changes. At this point, the solid formation start beginning. When we at this point the percentage of solid is 0, we can say that using tie line it is 0, and when we further down the temperature, the percentage of solid increases, and at this point if you draw this tie line, it is completely solid. At this point there is a liquid. The liquid proportion corresponds to the tie line to this end, and it is 0. So it forms completely solid. So this is the microstructural changes happening when we cool down the alloy, particular percentage of alloy, and here we consider an isomorphous phase diagram which is having two phases, and we are considering that when it is liquid it is a uniform liquid, and when it is a solid it is a perfect solid, a uniform solid. and we consider this simple example in order to see the microstructural changes happening inside the when it is crystallizes by using the phase diagram. And if you are going to look into this eutectic phase diagram, it will be a different story. So in summary, the solidification process is very extensive for equilibrium condition and must be maintained at all temperature. The cooling has to take place slowly in order for readjustment to occur in the composition of the two phases, which will yield in one phase diagram previously viewed. The diffusion process is the driving mechanism for the composition readjustment, just as the diffusion depends on the time in order to maintain equilibrium during the cooling, and the composition readjustment needs sufficient time. So let us wind up this topic here. Thank you.